Carrot Top, good morning. How are you, my man?
Well, I'm so old I missed my wake-up call. I know that.
I mean, how long have you been doing?
You're only 39. You sound 59 in your voice.
I know. I know. I sound old. Thank God I don't look old. How long have you been doing this now?
I've been doing it since 1986. Yeah.
And what?
Crazy.
I mean, I really, it's hard to believe because I can't imagine that you're. What are you now? In your 50? How old are you? 40?
I'll be 50 next year. Yeah.
Is that a big milestone turning? Like I'm worried about turning 40.
Yeah. I remember being what you just said. I was a little young buck, 29, doing this stuff. So but I don't. I've kept up as my people say, I look pretty good. I've held together, but no one likes getting old. That sucks.
What?
But I hate when kids say that. They walk up and they go, "I used to watch you when I was like 2." And I'm like, crap.
Yeah, that makes you feel really old.
On the Cartoon Network, yeah, and really old.
It's like
or hot chicks go, "My mom, can I get a picture of my mom?"
Yeah.
I love your mom. Tell your mom I said
hi. I'm looking at some pictures of Carrot Top and his acting. All of the props that he uses, like here's one that he had a giant shoe. Who actually makes? Do you make these yourself, or do you employ people to make these things for you?
I have a sweatshop full of kids that work around the hour, probably. I usually just make them myself. It's just something easy to make. If it's something really difficult, then I have a prop builder that I have in Vegas that helps me put together some of the things that I'm working on.
How did this come about that you're known as a prop comic, and some people sort of look down at prop comics, or other comedians will make fun of prop comics, but what was the first prop that you used, or how did you really start embracing that in your act, and what was the genesis of these props?
I don't know how it all. The strange thing about that is I started out as normal stand-up doing my thing, and I was horrible. And I went to this audition at this club, and the lady said, "You're funny. There's something about you I like, but there's something I don't like. You don't have an act really." And I said, "I know that." And she said, "Well, you need to kind of come up with something that what are you going to talk about?" So I went home back to I was in college at the time, and I had a neighborhood crime watch sign that was always funny. It was just on my dorm wall, and people always said, "Where'd you get that?" And I said, "I saw it." And they said, I used to say, "How good is their crime watch?" And then I watch their signs. So I had an idea. I said, "I'll just take that, and that'll be my opening joke." So I came on stage, and I was like, "Hey, everybody, sorry I'm late. I was in the neighborhood. Just picked up a couple things." And it worked, and it was great. And the lady said, "That was really funny. I just go steal more signs, So I kind of went back and started thinking of anything more visual. So I put together a whole routine with different signs, road signs. And that's what started the prop thing. And then somehow she said, the lady that I really respected in comedy, she said, the visual thing may be your route if you can come up with some things that are clever and visual. So I went back and I just started thinking of things that were funny that were visual, like, living in Florida, all these old people. So I made a hat with an old lady's head on a spring, so when they drove, their head went above the seat and stuff. And it was like, that was my big boom. She's like, "Wow, that's great. Now you're onto something." So I started just building all this crap. And I realized that the more crap I built, the longer I could go, which means a lot better I could get paid. So I just kept building more crap so I could become a headliner.
Do you think at any point, did you ever overdo it, or did you ever say, "I'm relying on this too much to the detriment of the rest of my act"? At any point?
No, I never did, because the act evolved so quickly. I went from going to do the props, but I would mingle back into stand up a little bit. But to have that initial act per se, I at least had the ground for that. So then the props, then I could kind of intertwine some stand-up in between. So, which was the show now is completely like, it's like maybe 10 minutes of props and then 40 minutes of just me. So
now,
it's not as much prop-driven as it was back in the day.
I know that you have a thing at, I think in Las Vegas. Do you still do that there at the Luxor?
Yeah, the Luxor. We just took a week off to hit the road. So we go back to Vegas next week.
And now I never really considered this with Carrot Top, but when you hit the road, I mean, there in Vegas, it's your home stage. You have all of your stuff there, but most comedians, when they travel, it's just them. They show up, they put them in the seedy motel, and that's it. They don't have to do anything. But how much how big of a pain in the ass, and how much stuff do you bring with you when you go out and you go on the road?
Yeah, I still stay in the CD hotel, but I have yeah, we have a tour bus and a whole big. We used to have a tractor trailer. Literally, it was that itself was hilarious. That used to be my poster. Just the back of a semi truck opened up with all this crap filled, and the stagehands would be like, "I thought we were getting a comedian today." Like, there you are. It takes a lot of stuff to make you funny. So, so yeah, it was pretty cool looking.
What do you think is the reason you got into stand-up? I mean, you wanted to do this. You said that before you discovered this visual stuff and the props, that you had an act and it wasn't that great. Now, that could be just because you're young, you're starting out, you don't have a hook.
It's still not that great, by the way. Don't get too ahead of yourself.
No, I think a lot of people really enjoy what you do. I mean, look, you've been very successful, and obviously the Luxor wouldn't pay you if your act blew, you know?
Yeah.
But why? What was your motivation? For instance, I wanted to be in radio ever since I was a little kid. I look back and I go, I should have become a prop comic because I could be worth $75 million like Carrot Top. What idiot am I going into radio? How stupid am I? Did you always want to do this, or what led you down that path?
I don't really know. I came from a family that was not definitely in show business. My dad worked at the Space Center at NASA. And my mom was just a free spirit mom, and really didn't. There's no show business roots to me, whatever. I just kind of when I was in college, kind of being the class clown, if we use that cliche. But when I got through school, I just my friends, there was an open mic, and my friends were just like, "Hey, you should get into that." And I did, and then I won this little contest, and then I did another one, won all the contests, and then I just really got into the art of comedy. I loved the camaraderie of all the comics and just going on the road with all the guys. And so it just turned out just a passion. It just turned into something that I really liked. Growing up watching television, watching like Don Rickles or, on The Tonight Show and those kind of things were moments. I remember looking at my mom going, I want to do that, but I didn't realize it was possible in my lifetime. But the journey just kind of happened. And then it was really funny when I started doing this. I think Larry the Cable Guy, he and I were both like MCs at the club. So
and probably not two nickels to rub between the two of you. And now look at this.
Well, now he's worth $500 million.
Yeah, I mean he's worth. Is it accurate? Celebrity net worth lists you at $75 million. Is that in the ballpark? I mean, that's an extraordinary figure if it's even anywhere.
I just think that's an awesome number they gave me, but I'll take it.
I mean, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's a little crazy, I think. But.
So you grew up there in Florida? Is that where it was? You said the Space
Center. Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, Florida.
What'd your dad do for the Space Center?
He worked on the shuttle and the Skylab and all those. Yeah.
Was he like an engineer or something?
Yeah, engineer. Yeah, he designed a lot of different little parts and stuff, whatnot. He trained the astronauts to drive on the moon. That's pretty cool.
When you were a kid, when you were younger and you were in school, you said you were kind of the class clown.
Yeah.
How were people? I know how cruel kids can be, and you, of course, have the red hair, which has become obviously your trademark as Carrot Top. But before all of that, did kids pick on you? Did they make fun of you for the red hair or your appearance?
Yeah, but not in a mean way. I think I just stuck out. I was the only redheaded kid out of the school, and my brother was also at the school where I went, and he was definitely more of the athlete and more of the in kid. He was an athlete, and we loved him. And I was like, hey, that's Garrett's little brother. But they never really picked on me to the point where they were horribly mean. That made me sad to want to become a comic, which people always say, is there a dark side to you? I'm like, yeah, sure. Every comic has a dark side, But I think every person has a dark side, so I don't think every comic is different than anybody else, right?
But they weren't so cruel that it actually drove.
I don't think so. No. But I think there might have been something to do with that, though, as far as why I used humor to get through with things. Being the outcast in a sense, being someone different.
You can deflect things with.
Yeah,
humor.
I wanted to be the blonde-haired surfer kid. I didn't want to be a redheaded freckled guy, so.
You get in trouble a lot when you were a kid as a class clown?
No, I never. I was always the teachers loved me. I would make everybody laugh in the class, but I never did anything where they're like, Scott, get out, So yeah, no, I didn't misbehave necessarily, but I do remember being the one that I was the one telling jokes.
A lot of over the years, and I haven't heard so much of this in the past couple of years, but maybe about, I don't know if it was 3 or 4 years ago, if it was TMZ or who it was, but they started really analyzing your appearance.
Yeah.
Whether you had plastic surgery, you bulked up, you got huge, and whether you were on steroids and that kind of stuff. Was that all natural? Did you just bulk up from working out? Did you take steroids? I mean, you've probably answered this 1,000 times, but
I did get really big, and which you could lead people to understand that would be, a question in their mind. But it was all natural. But I do remember people saying all that. But it was also at the same time where all that whole steroid thing was such a big craze. It was like anytime you saw anyone that had muscles, they go, "Oh yeah, he's on steroids." So it's kind of one of those things where it just became bigger than it was. But yeah, I did really big. I did bulk up pretty big.
Did you have a motivation
the face thing was hilarious, though. I thought that was really funny. I do a whole bit in my act about that. I'm like, if I had a face like Jesus Christ, wouldn't I look better? I look at my picture of me right now, and I look exactly the same. So I don't see where they got that from, but I know exactly where it came from. I was doing a roast, Comedy Central roast, and Greg Giraldo said something like, "Jesus Christ, enough with the effing facelifts," to me.
And it just stuck.
Yeah, people they believe that whatever we say on the shows, it's all real, and he was just that's how he dug on me, because I took care of myself and I look good. He's like, "So I guess I got there. Sorry, I work out and I put face cream on. Sorry," kind of thing. But they were everybody was just like, "You're talking about facelifts." I'm like, "No, that is a joke. That's why that stupid thing's a roast." But anyway, that's where that came from, and then people started just believing everything they hear. So,
did you have any motivation for bulking up like that, or did you?
No, it really wasn't really in motivation. I was just I was on the road for so many years doing shows, and I got the show in Vegas that put me there permanently.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have all day to do nothing, So I was like, what do I do? I should get into some kind of hobby. Maybe it should be something that's good for me instead of something that's bad for me. So I said, I'll just maybe work out more. And I'd go to the gym more, and I swam, so I just really became this like gym rat.
Do you live
everything? Change my diet. I just was like, one of these people that are really annoying to hang out with. I can't have that because it's got peanut oil. Whatever. I'm just like chicken and rice and 3 hours in the gym.
Do you live in Vegas now? Is that what you call your permanent home?
Las Vegas, yes.
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
And do you ever? I grew up there. Do you ever hit up the casinos and actually gamble in any of these casinos?
Once in a blue moon on a fun night, yeah. But I don't make it a regular habit since I live there.
What my producer left recently. He normally does all of the research for guests, and we haven't hired a new producer yet. And he normally give me bullet points on everyone, and so the person filling in gave me some bullet points on Carrot Top. But
did they leave during my interview?
Did they what?
When they left, right during my interview?
No. Yeah. He fired him. I said, "You booked Carrot Top? What? You're fired."
He quit. Yeah.
Now, one thing that's not on here is anything about your personal life. I don't know anything about Carrot Top's personal life. Are you single? You married? You straight? You gay?
Life, yeah.
I mean, I have no idea at all.
I'm all those things.
Oh, come on.
Well, yeah, no, I'm single, have a girlfriend, living in Vegas. But really don't do. Yeah, family lives in. Well, one thing's kind of funny with the theater that we're going to be playing in Cleveland. My grandparents' house is like a mile from there.
Oh, really?
It's not there any longer. I think it's a Pizza Hut now or something. But it was. They had that whole Macedonia. There was like a whole hundreds of miles of farm. And they had a big house on there, and so yeah, it's all gone.
So you're almost 50. You're not 50 yet.
Yeah.
You're not married. You have a girlfriend. And no kids, right? Or do you have kids?
No kids. Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever have kids? Is it something you ever wanted?
I didn't until now. Now I do. No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be like Letterman and have a baby when I'm 70, so it's kind of weird.
Is it having a permanent thing in Vegas? Do you enjoy doing that, or Or does it get repetitive? Obviously, stand-ups, comedians, whatever, they do the same act day in and day out, but you're doing it in the same place. Do you enjoy having this? Obviously, it's convenient. You have a place to live. That's great.
I didn't think I would, and when I took it on, I just said, I'm not going to be in Vegas in one place. So this is horrible. I enjoyed the road, but I think as I got older and when I took the gig and I realized how much fun it is to do the show and then be able to get your own house at night and not travel is a blessing. So, yeah, I think it's great. I think it's fun, and you get to change it up. You know, I have the luxury of changing my show as often as I want, as opposed to one of the circ shows that are just stuck with the script. But so, yeah, I enjoy it. But I think this road trip's going to be fun to kind of get out and see the people.
Yeah, how often do you do that?
We haven't done it in like 10 years, so this will be our first gigs out in 10 years. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, wow. So you want to get back into the swing of things and go travel a little bit and go.
Just to see, get a little taste of it,
He's going to be at the Hard Rock Rocksino.
Before I turn 50 and I can't do it.
Northfield Park, his website, carrottop.com. Before I let you go, you had mentioned some of these roasts. You mentioned the guy who said that he had a facelift that sort of stuck. Has there ever been anything at one of these roasts or something where you were actually legitimately offended or hurt by something someone said about you?
No, I don't think no, not really. I mean, I have tried to put together a compilation of all the rips on me over the years from like everybody, and I've looked at a whole bunch, and they're mostly just people just being just as a kind of a punchline kind of thing. It's nothing really offensive. It's nothing. The facelift one was only because you're sitting there watching TV going, facelift? When did I have time to even have a facelift? It's the stupidest thing ever. But
what about respect from other comedians? Because you, over the years, I think now after so many years, people have to respect you. For instance, there's a radio show, Bob and Tom. Now, I don't get these guys at all, but hey, I have to respect that they are successful and they're on 200 radio stations. Is it my cup of tea? No, but hey, look, they've been successful. Can't argue with that. And I think people have to look at you the same way. They go, wow, this guy's been very successful. He's been doing this for 30 years or whatever. But was that ever hurtful, that for so many years that you were the butt of other comedians' jokes, I guess, sometimes?
Yeah, I think I never would say that it sat well, especially if you want to be liked amongst your peers more than anything. But it never was that I wasn't. That's what's strange. It was just a couple of years of people picking on me because I had some success. I was playing theaters and they were playing clubs, and so all these comics were just curious, really, in a sense. Like, how the hell did this guy, Carrot Top, that I've never even heard of, how the hell is he playing theaters? And how is he doing Vegas? And so it was more of one of those, just almost in a sense, not jealous, but just like they just hard to grasp. But then when I got to meet George Carlin and Jay Leno and Rob Williams and people that I really, Billy Crystal's and of that nature that love me, then it was like, oh, who cares what Joe Schmo's saying about me?
Right.
Billy Crystal said he loves my act. So.
Right. Last question here. Tell me what you. Yeah, he's like, this interview's going on forever. First of all, and by the way, I did just get a text message from someone here, and they said that Carrot Top, they saw his girlfriend on a cooking show, and she's pretty hot, is what they said.
Well, yeah. What do you think? I'm going to pull in something ugly?
Hey, no way, not a chance.
No, with a facelift, I get the good girls now.
Here's a guy that says you were permanently banned from Ashland University in Ashland for getting caught smoking weed at the Teak frat house. No idea if that's true.
Yeah, I never heard of that. I remember playing Ashland University. I never got busted. I never smoked weed. So.
Tell me, what do you think you're known for these props. What's the best one you ever came up with in all the past 30 years? And what do you look back and go, well, that was the dumbest one or the worst one?
Well, I've had a few that I wish that I had copyrighted, that people have lifted from me, that turned into something pretty big. During the replacement player time in baseball, 90-something, they'd take all the replacement players, and they was making a big stink about the fact there was nobody getting hits. It was boring games. So I made a baseball bat. When you swing it, it would make a crack noise. So it sounded like, so this way at least it sounds like they're getting hit. And then Whammo took that idea and made a bat for kids. When you swing it, it goes, it makes the snap.
Oh, wow.
That was the one that I'm really bummed I didn't think right through. Yeah, that sucked. And then I think the one that I did most clever, or one that I really respected, I remember George Carlin came up to me one time and said, I really like that paper cups and string phone prop. And I was like, wow, cool. It was just a paper cup and string, and I made an updated version for today's kids, and had another cup that came out for call waiting. A third cup for conference calling, whatever. He said, that's great. I really like that.
Do you yourself come up with all of this stuff, or do you? I mean, it seems to me like a lot of times people would come up to you and throw ideas at you.
Usually I have to come up with myself. It's kind of hard to get, because I think a lot of times people think with props, they think it's like a pun. So they'll say, hey, here's one. You could get a shoe and put a horn on it. Get a shoe horn. I go, oh, no, that's not what I want. But, oh, well, they try.
Carrot Top is going to be at the Hard Rock Roxino, Northfield Park, this Sunday, November 9th. Their website is hrroxinonorthfieldpark.com. Apparently, they couldn't get anything shorter than that. How in the hell that's even a website? I don't know. Carrot Top, there's probably a link on his website to this gig where you can purchase tickets and all of that. His website is carrottop.com. And Carrot Top, Scott, whatever you like being called. Do your parents, who calls you Scott? Just your family, or
family and friends call me Scott. Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandma, God bless her, she always called me Carrot Top, and I always thought that was funny. This is my grandson, Carrot Top. And I'm like, it's Scott, Grandma. It's always a little creepy.
Well, I go by Rover on the air. My real name is Shane, and there's always sort of an awkward. People will ask, what do you want to be called, Shane or Rover? And if you're in a big group of people, you're at a dinner or whatever, it's sort of an awkward sort of thing, because if you say, I kind of prefer that you call me Rover, people are like, oh, what a douchebag this guy is. Yeah. But it just makes it normal that's what everyone knows you as, I mean, it's just...
I just tell them to call me Queen Latifah.
Hey, Carrot Top, have fun on this road trip that you're doing, and I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to talk with us this morning.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. Sorry I called in a little bit late there.
No problem. Just get a prop, giant alarm clock, or whatever. I don't know. I'm sure you can build one for the next interview you have, Carrot. Thank you, Carrot Top. Going to be at the Hard Rock Roxino, Northfield Park this Sunday. And like I said, his website, carrottop.com.